Hey everybody. I am in the middle of a writing mode, but I wanted to come onto this YouTube video to share a little bit of what I'm writing and a lesson on how to get and stay grounded. So the book that I'm currently writing this week is called Not Built to Be Broken. So Cassandra Von Worsley, you will find my books at overcomingfearbooks.com. You can also find them at cassandravon.com. So this new book is not really a new book. This is a book that I started writing 10 years ago when I was 29. Let me get the book. I should probably show it to you. Okay, so this big, beautiful thing that you could see right here. See how thick this sucker is? I wrote this sucker when I was 29, and there's a lot of wisdom in it. I'm kind of surprised as I reread it again that I wrote 100 ways to master your life's spiritual curriculum, and it's actually pretty good for a 29-year-old writing that book. But 10 years later, I'm actually going to bring it to Amazon through this new ebook, which is not so new, and I'm rewriting it. And so as I'm rewriting it, I'm writing it with the wisdom of a 29-year-old version of me, plus the wisdom of 10 more years being me. And so I want to talk in this video, give you a preview of what is in Not Built to Be Broken, but also share with you what I write in chapter 1 about how do you get grounded. So I'm going to read you a little bit and then we're going to talk about it, okay? So in the book, I say, we don't know how to commit to the long game, to the actions that we will need to take over and over and over for the next 20 years to get where we say we want to go. We don't know how to stick things out, how to stay the course, how to hold on when things get tough. We've lost our mental capacity, our emotional fitness, our grit, and our resilience. We raise children that freak out when they lose a Wi-Fi connection. Who can relate to that? We freak out when we don't have cell phone service. I can relate to that. We have lost our edge when it comes to gracefully and powerfully standing in the gap of life storms. We crumble when life storms show up, and then we get up and rise to the occasion, hopefully. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could regain our warrior nature and instead of bowing to the storms that come, we take on the characteristics of the battle and we become the storm instead? We can do that. We've simply lost the practice and the living of that. How do we get that back? How do we reclaim our warrior status, get grounded in our beings, and rise to the occasion of life? How do we become who we really are? Get grounded. So you might be asking, how do I do that? There are many ways, but let's talk about 3 ways to get grounded that you can start doing today. Number 1, control your breath. Number 2, stay in your body through physical exercise. And so I talk about this in the book, right? So number 1 is controlling your breath. And there's this amazing impact theory interview that Tom Billier does with Mark Divine, who is a former Navy SEAL, where he talks about, and this is what Mark says in that impact interview. So number 1 is control your breath. And Mark Divine says there's 4 primary skills of mental toughness. The first is control of your breath, and control of your breath gives us a sense that everything's going to be okay. And he actually has a really great video where he does box breathing with you for about 16 minutes. It's awesome. It's now part of my daily regimen. Number 2 to get grounded. So here's the second thing if you want to get grounded. And I write about this in the book. Stay in your body through physical exercise. Nothing grounds you as much as actually being fully in your body. Sounds weird, doesn't it? Most people, including me, aren't physically grounded unless they set aside and spend time moving. In the sedentary world we live in, we've become far too accustomed to not moving. But moving equals shifting, and shifting equals change, and change can lead to growth. The more you move your body, the more you actually live in it. Isn't that powerful? The more you move your body, the more you actually live in your body. I go on in the book to say, if you, like me, deal with excess body fat, here's the deal. The only way to release that extra weight is to move. And yes, you might feel completely uncomfortable being in your own skin, but the only way to change that feeling is to embrace it by fully being in the body that you may or may not feel comfortable in. As Robert Frost put it, the only way out is through. You've got to get into your body to change your body. Now, the third thing you can do to get grounded, and I write about this in chapter 1 of Not Built to Be Broken, is this: choose your emotions and live there. Emotions don't happen. We either choose them or we allow them. It might be a whole new term to some people, but the concept behind emotional intelligence is centuries old. Centuries. In The Art of War, Sun Tzu writes, "Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win." The battle, the quest, the journey to anything begins and ends in the mind. Your thoughts lead to your emotions, and your emotions lead to new thoughts, and this can be either a harmonious dance or a vicious cycle. You get to decide which one it is on a moment-by-moment basis. To get and stay grounded, choose emotions that empower you. That's key. Choose emotions that empower you. When negative emotions creep up, ask yourself, how can I turn this around? How can I use this? Don't ask, why do I feel this way? Or when are things going to change? We've all asked those questions, mind you. Don't ask those questions. Here's the thing. Don't ask, why do I feel this way? Or when are things going to change? Yeah, so I lost my place for a second. Let me go back to the place that I was at. So to get and stay grounded, choose emotions that empower you. When negative emotions creep up, ask yourself, how can I turn this around? And this is one of my favorite questions. How can I use this? Whatever this is, how can I use this? Don't ask, why do I feel this way? Or when are things going to change? You don't want a future result. You want a right now shifting of energy. That's only going to happen if you take control of your emotional life. This is not a free-for-all. Your emotions are not random or assigned or in response to the circumstances. No matter what the circumstance, you get to choose how you respond to it. There's nothing that anger, bitterness, despair, or hatred can solve. Those emotions won't put you in a place to see possibility, opportunity, and victory. Those emotions can take you into a downward spiral, but they cannot lift you out of one. So why accept them? Whenever a dark emotion shows up, acknowledge it, feel it, and then do whatever it takes to transform it. That is your role. That is your power. That is what makes you a warrior. Don't pretend that you don't feel shitty when you do. Call it what it is. Don't act like you don't have down days where you look at your life and go, how did I end up here? In those exact moments, say to yourself, where would I like to end up next? How does it feel when I get there, wherever next is? Feel those emotions and allow the pull of your future to transform the emotions of your present. So you now have the energy to create the future, that future with everything inside of you. Don't look at others and wonder, why don't they care? Or, oh, and I just lost my place. Don't look at others and wonder, why don't they care? Or why do they have it so easy? You aren't in another person's life. Everyone, despite what they put on Facebook, everyone has hell to deal with. Don't let an overly positive Facebook feed fool you. Every person you know is fighting a hard battle. Forget about their journey. Focus on yours. The breath, the body, and the emotions. That is how you get and stay grounded. And that's the end of chapter 1. So I wanted to give you a glimpse, even as I'm sitting here in my gray sweater and my hair is a mess, I wanted to give you a glimpse of what I'm writing about, Not Built to Be Broken, but I also want you to take some of these tips and apply them. If you're feeling ungrounded, it boils down to those 3 things: the breath, the body, and the emotions. Use those so that you can get grounded and so you can stay grounded. And stay tuned. Join me at CassandraVaughn.com. Join me on Facebook. I believe it's Cassandra Vaughn MBA on Facebook. Find me on Instagram at the Cassandra Vaughn. You will get more updates about Not Built to Be Broken. It should be out next week, but more to writing. And I'm going to go back to writing now. I'll see you guys later.